Hey, congratulations. You are just about through freshman comp. You've gotten through the big part of the class. As I was telling you at the very beginning, the way this is designed is to be kind of a downhill slope from this point forward. So the idea is that the last couple of weeks of the semester, you've got more time to do other things. I've got more time to finish up your grading. So kind of win-win for both of us. That way you go into finals week with no commitments to this class at all. So you're going to finish everything up by the end of dead week. So for the next 2 weeks, what we're going to do is this week, you're going to create 1 to 4 slides and you're going to upload those. Really, part of this week is just learning what is a flash talk, right? Because that's the final assignment in here is a little 3-minute flash talk. And we'll get into that in just a minute. So the first week, you're going to create the slides and you're going to upload those. And then the second week, you're actually going to do the recording. If we were in a face-to-face classroom, then we would take all week and all of you would do your presentations during class. Since that's not possible, what you're going to do is you're going to record those less than 3-minute presentations and you're going to upload them to Canvas. Remember, I said that this was a beginning of a new course, right? They redesigned the course 2 days before we started it, and I think it's gone really well. This is a piece, though, where I'm like the first of you that start trying to upload those presentations. If you have trouble, let me know. We may have to pivot and say, oh, you're going to upload them to YouTube and send me the link, or I don't know what we're going to do, but don't freak out if we have a little bit of, wobbling with getting that assignment in. It's also due the week before, right? Like the end of dead week. So there's a week after that where if we had to piddle around figuring out how you get me the recordings, we'd have some time to do that. So no panicking at the last minute. Dr. Rogers has your back. If things are not perfect, we will figure it out together. Okay, now I'm going to show you kind of, like the bits and pieces of this assignment. As you can see, this is a pretty light assignment week. You're going to read the assignment prompt. You're already watching the video. So number 2, you're going to read the assignment prompt. Number 3, you're going to upload the slides for the flash talk. And then number 4 is filling out a survey about consensus. And I'm just going to walk you through those 3 things one at a time. If you've never heard of a flash talk before, we've got like a little section here, right? A flash talk is a short presentation that enables a researcher or a speaker to present research findings on a specific area of study. This is a popular type of presentation. For instance, OSU has an undergraduate research symposium where students give 3-minute flash talks. That one actually has a cash prize for the best flash talk. I went out on the internet and I discovered that somebody had videoed their entire flash talk competition, and they're all on science topics. But I thought it would be really useful to you to be able to look at some flash talks, and they are 3 minutes long. Each of them could only have 2 slides. Ours is going to be a little more permissive than that. You can have up to 4 slides, but still only 3 minutes. Kind of some things that you might want to notice about that are multimodal presentations, right? A flash talk is a multimodal presentation. That means it has words and images. It has a minimal number of slides. It's 3 minutes or less. The presenter clearly explains information in an interesting way, clearly states their position, the findings of their research. This one that I provided a link to has a long introduction on it, 2 minutes and 30 seconds worth of introduction. So at least for the first three, I've given you, you can just jump to the presentations. We're not going to have question and answer because you won't be watching each other's, which in that case, right, like you could just watch the 3-minute presentations. Useful advice: show the relevance of your research to your discourse community. Make the audience care about your project. Use the space on the slides wisely. Don't crowd the information. And then there's just a list of, right, like guidelines for this. You're going to create 1 to 4 slides to present the findings from your research to your discourse community as if you were a participant in a mock undergraduate research symposium. PowerPoint software is required for creating the slides. That's really for my benefit. That way I know for sure that I'll be able to view your PowerPoint slides and grade them. If we start going off with a bunch of different software, I have trouble sometimes, and this is meant to be a quickie thing at the end. I made you download the Microsoft software at the beginning of the semester in order to get Microsoft Word. So at that point, you downloaded the whole kit and caboodle. If you find that you don't have PowerPoint somehow or another already on your computer, go to the OSU software distribution page and you can download it. If you have trouble, remember, go to the help desk. You can go in person or you can call them, and their phone number is 405-744-HELP. I'm going to say that one more time. If you need help with your computer or with downloading the software, go to 405-744-HELP. Well, actually call that number or go to the help desk. For the purpose of this writing assignment, the first slide is the title slide, and you're going to have your name and your presentation title on that one. Slides 2, 3, and 4, you can have up to 4, are content slides. So that's where your information is. We're going to tell about the different viewpoints and, right, about the debate, about the topic, about like your stance on it, the evidence that you have compiled. All text on your slides must be in a readable font that is 18 points or larger. Since you're going to be uploading a recording of your presentation to Canvas, be careful not to create a file that is too large. For instance, do not include music, video, etc. on your slides. A lot of the competitions will also have that same restriction because it's really all about you making the presentation, not about somebody else, right? Somebody else's music or somebody else's video. Make sure that the images you include on your slides are downsized for displaying on a screen. I'm gonna say that PowerPoint will probably do that by default, but just on the off chance that you're having trouble, that the file size is too big, go in and go into your settings in PowerPoint and scale those image sizes down. I'm not talking about like physically how big they display. I'm talking about how much room they take up on your hard drive. The oral time factor, 3 minutes, that's 160 seconds or less for the presentation. And, as a rule of thumb, maybe you want to do 45 to 50 seconds for each content slide and 10 seconds for the introduction slide. Maybe you want to swap that around. Maybe your introduction needs a bit more for the topic, but maybe not for just your name and for the presentation title. That really should just be 10 seconds. Okay, if you give me something that's over 3 minutes, I'm going to start taking off your grade for it. Partly that's because I live in fear that Canvas is going to fork up if we put in large files. Upload the final draft of the slide presentation to the Canvas portal. And there we are. I'm going to give you an extra day onto Saturday to get the entire thing put together. But this week, what to do is just the slide presentation. All right, let's go back. This is the assignment for this week. This is how I think that you should proceed. Since your flash talk is only going to be 3 minutes, you will need to plan your talk carefully. What is the most interesting part of your research? What were the various viewpoints that scholars, experts had? Make some notes for yourself, right? Like, what was your position? Now think carefully about how many slides you will need to convey that information. This information lets you make 1 to 4 slides, or this assignment lets you make 1 to 4 slides. In the examples that you watched in the assignment prompt, and here's that link again to those flash talks, they were only allowed to use 2 slides, an introduction slide with their name and presentation title, and then 1 content slide. That's really, I think that you can probably get all of this done with 1 slide. If you feel like you need more slides, you can have up to 3 content slides, but that's the maximum. As you watch the examples, I'd like you to notice all their font choices are very bold and clear. So sans serif fonts like Helvetica and Aptos display, those display very clearly in online presentations. So probably you can go with the default fonts and PowerPoint. The one Aptos is what it defaults to, and that's a nice clear font. If you want to have something special for maybe like the titles of your slides, like the big titles or subheadings, that would be a place to have a little more originality, but it still needs to be very clear, very readable. The words on the slide have to be large, and the rule of thumb is that all text should be at the very least 18 points and probably larger than that. Notice that there are not a lot of words on the screen at one time. The slides are clearly designed to make you listen to the person who's speaking, not spend all of your time reading lengthy blocks of text on the slide. So that's a rookie mistake if you put too many words on the slide. Notice that the text is dark and high contrast when compared to the backgrounds, which are pale and high contrast. For instance, dark blue text on a pale yellow background is very easy to see. I'm not saying that's your best chance. I'm just giving that as a really good, clear example. Dark blue on pale yellow, that's a very, very high contrast choice. Now, think about your discourse community. Are they a bunch of different ages? Have you got like younger people like yourself and older people, perhaps who wear bifocals, perhaps, right, who have some difficulties with vision impairment? Maybe some of your discourse community has color blindness. Keep that in mind as you're making choices. Red-green color blindness, if you put red on green, people with red-green color blindness can't see that at all. If you put dark blue on a pale blue, that still has lower contrast and is still more difficult to see. So just kind of keep that in mind. The colors and images still need to be pleasing and appropriate. Just because you're trying to make things easy to see doesn't mean that they can't be good looking as well. Now, if you have never used PowerPoint before in your whole life, there's a step-by-step guide that you could look at from Microsoft, and it is kind of bare bones, like click here, do this. They've got templates that would help you make some choices, right? Like the template just goes ahead and makes all your font choices and it puts up a background. But do kind of keep in mind you're doing a serious presentation to your discourse community, so you don't want to get too fanciful, right? Unicorns are just out. Pick something that's kind of sober and professional looking. Okay, your checklist. Your first slide has your name and the title of your presentation. Font choices on all slides are at least 18 points or larger, and they're high contrast. Content slides have visual elements that will help you explain your research topic. And your visual choices should be appropriate for your discourse community. Your discourse community is, of course, your audience. Going back to the last thing, you remember how I made you create a login for Consensus, and that's an AI search engine, essentially, that will search all of the internet and all of the OSU databases that take you behind the paywalls. So if you found something that OSU has, there was a little OSU icon, and you could click on that and you could download the PDF file directly from OSU while you were in Consensus. If we didn't have it, it took you to the internet page where you could see it. Another thing that Consensus did, we were able to ask it questions. We were able to ask about, what is the current research on? What is the current scholarly discussion on? And then Consensus would go out and survey all the information, and it would come back and put it into categories. So hopefully this is ringing a bell. These are homework assignments that I made you do early in the semester. Now, I also made you learn how to do it the old-fashioned way, where you go to the OSU Libraries search engine and you click on advanced settings, and then you fill in a series of key terms. But remember, you have to have the key term exactly right. You have to spell it right. And it's just going to give you a list of what OSU has, because obviously it's just, the OSU search engine that the library has. So what I was saying was the OSU search engine is like a traditional television. Consensus is like getting a smart TV, right? It does all sorts of things. It lets you do all the different streaming platforms, et cetera, et cetera. So here's why you're going to do the survey. OSU bought a subscription to Consensus, and I think all of us really loved it. But they're going to think about whether they're going to pay for the subscription next year or not. So if you enjoyed using it this year, please go ahead and fill out this survey form and tell them how much you enjoyed using it and how you were able to use it, as we're trying to persuade OSU to go ahead and pay for a subscription for next year as well. Maybe even just put it on the list to always be something that we have. All right. Easy peasy. These are fairly short assignments. You've already done all of the research. You've already organized all of your thinking. All you're going to do is going to maybe read back through your own essay, or it's probably right at the top of your brain because you just finished it. Make some notes about what the most interesting pieces are about the debate that you uncovered, what you're going to tell about, how to make your audience care about it. Think about what images might help you explain it, and you're going to put together the PowerPoint portion of the presentation that you're going to do next week. So this week, you're going to make 1 to 4 slides. You're going to upload that to the Canvas assignment. That's really what you're doing for this week. Next week, you're going to do the presentation, do a 3-minute presentation. You're going to record yourself doing a 3-minute presentation. We're going to talk more about that next week. So, and then that's it. There's a short reflection that we do instead of a final exam. It would be kind of goofy to have you do a final exam in this class. So instead, what we do is we just have you write a reflection about your experience in the class. Student surveys are open. So I would ask you to go ahead and do those. if you could be really clear between your comments about me, right, and these videos, how the class was structured, because this is a new class structure, and then also the book, which the book is kind of brand new too. So giving us feedback on that. I would ask you to, phrase your comments in a kindly way, because some of the people who will be reading it are the people who designed the class and who chose the textbook and who edited the textbook. That's it for week 14. You are almost home free. If you need to talk to me, my next week, I have kind of mopped off more time for those of you who might need a little bit of extra help, because you've never done PowerPoint before, or this whole Flash Talk presentation is freaking you out. I think most of you have done papers before and you kind of understood that. If you need to talk to me, let's set up a time, and I'm available on Zoom or I'm available on campus. And let me know whether to bring Finley or not. All right, have a good one.